What's the future of real estate in London? Well, that may be an interesting question to ask. Here I am in Istanbul, just in the outskirts of this city here. But it's an important question because the future of real estate in London can only be answered globally. Let me explain. If you look at the prime real estate, you'll find that certainly for residential, that most of those properties are being bought by people outside of London. I'll always remember it wasn't so very long ago a lunch I had with some high-flying 30-year-olds in Singapore who all belonged to a leading insurance company. And as we went around the room, we were talking about what people did, and one after the other they said, "Oh, I was in London recently. Oh, I've just bought a flat in London. Oh, where do you live in London? It's quite close to where I am." And it turned out that of these 30 to 35-year-olds, as I went around, these 15 people around this table for lunch, the great majority of them had either bought an apartment already in London or were already planning to do so. Now, it wasn't just a social media thing between the lot of them. They are part of a trend, a global trend, looking at centres like London as places to buy property. Now, why are they doing that? Part of it is because they think that everyone else will do the same from other parts of the world. But it's more fundamental. It's because through all the shocks of the last 10, 12, or 14 years, right through from September 11 through to the seismic economic earthquake of 2009, through the Arab Spring and a whole host of other political changes and economic pressures around the world, investors and individuals indeed have just been worried, anxious, nervous, and thinking, if there's a safe bolt hole for my stuff, where would it be? And I'm not just talking about money stuff, cash. I'm talking about possessions. I'm talking about family, children. Where would I want to educate my children? If there is a city that has low crime, has a language I understand, has a police force I trust, has a judge and a jury system that would probably give me justice if I got into real problems, has got a democracy, has got a stable currency, is placed in a part of the world where actually I can operate to the east and west from normal daylight. So I can have a normal daylight from sort of 8 in the morning till 8 at night type thing, and I can be in touch with both parts of my empire or my networks of relationships around the world. A place where I feel safe to walk around at night. A place where I can be entertained, whether it's in the theatre or in the bar or a club or fed well in a restaurant. A place where actually I will find friends of mine from the same culture, nationality and language group. A place where actually this culture of a whole wide variety of types which will satisfy me, my spouse, my children, and my relatives and friends who come to visit me. And we have seen a flight actually of capital. A flight especially from countries where there are already controls on the movement of capital out of those countries. So this is money that's coming out through strange routes, or countries where people fear that there might be controls in the future. And remember, history has shown us just in the last 2 or 3 years just how radically and rapidly such currency controls can be introduced almost overnight as a result of some particular run on banks or whatever it is. So what's the future of London? I would say it's excellent. We are seeing, for a whole range of reasons, we're seeing London's own economy is recovering from the banking crisis. We're seeing that what was this huge centre of banking excellence revive. It's not quite in the same shape that it was before, but at the same time, London as a creative centre is exploding, whether it's designing websites or next generation mobile devices or apps or the things relating to the film industry or, for instance, CGI graphics companies, whether it's people in marketing or advertising or design. London has become a hotbed for creative talent of all kinds. London has continued to attract HQs of large organizations who want to have a secure base in the European Union somewhere, and partly because of the English language. So there are a whole host of reasons why London is an attractive place to be. London continues to be a magnet too for migrants from around the rest of the UK who crash land in this buzzy city and are contributing to the 1 million extra citizens we will see in this city over the next 10 years or so. So London has an interesting future. It's highly linked to what's happening around the world. It's true that if we saw a continued rise of the pound against other currencies, if we saw the continued settling of other economic and political situations, that we could see some of that capital finding its way back out around the world. But it's not going to happen overnight. And in the meantime, communities take a while to grow and they take a while to dismantle. And if you come with your children to educate them and things like that, you're probably going to stay for a while. Your children quickly root with their own friends and so on. So there's a certain amount of international glue that's developing here, which will drive the London economy for the next 10 to 15 years.